the red carpet.
I am Chevalier.
Oh yes, the show-off who spoiled Mozart's concert.
Spoiled. Improved, I think. He was like the Michael Jackson of the moment, you know?
We're talking with the cast of the critically acclaimed new film that has everyone asking, who is Chevalier?
I was blown away that this was a story I didn't know.
It's a wild ride and it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Master of the sword, maestro of the bow.
He's wonderful.
Spectacular.
Bold.
This is a special Chevalier edition of On the Red Carpet.
Hello everyone, Chevalier premieres only in theaters April 21st. It tells the remarkable untold true story of a black composer whose talent and charm propelled him to improbable heights in French society, against all odds.
You are quite a remarkable man, Joseph. I, Marie Antoinette, Queen of France, hereby anoint you Chevalier.
In any other country, a man of your colour would not be wearing such fine clothes.
One day, the whole world will know me. And of course, the music will be spectacular. Bold.
Kelvin Harrison Jr., who we recently saw playing B.B. King in Elvis, stars as another music legend in Chevalier, a real-life champion sword fighter, composer, and violinist who had a complicated relationship with Marie Antoinette and an epic violin duel with Mozart.
The show-off who spoiled Mozart's concert.
May I play with you, monsieur?
Well, I hope this won't be embarrassing for you. Who the hell is that?
I first asked Kelvin about Chevalier on Oscar Sunday while he was still in his bathrobe getting ready.
Oh, what's up, George? I mean, I think this bathrobe is pretty sexy if I do say so myself.
But now it was time for a formal interview, no bathrobes, as I sat down with Kelvin, a rising star who has a breakout performance in Chevalier. Hi, Kelvin. If we were in person, I would be bringing you a robe to say thank you for the Oscar interview.
Good to see you, George. I mean, listen, I was so glad that we got to have that moment. It was so personal and intimate, so thank you.
Thank you. We had a lot of fun. I'm wondering this. What kind of a break is this movie for you?
Oh, break. I mean,
I know you've been doing this for 10 years, but still, this is a big thing.
It's a big thing, and I'm really excited for the moment. It feels like a dream, considering the fact that my first instrument was the violin, and I was so excited about playing the violin as a kid. It was like my favorite thing in the world, and to come full circle and suddenly be this iconic figure that is a real person, but also like kind of like a superhero. It just feels so fun, and you know, to be able to introduce this character, and probably for a lot of people getting to know me, is I think that's a pretty epic way to do it.
I thought to myself, Kelvin either rehearsed and trained endlessly or has the best body double in the business.
I begged for a body double. I honestly was like, please give me a body double, because I was like, I don't really know. I was so scared that I wasn't gonna be able to pull it off. But Steven refused, and I'm glad he did, because it pushed me to accomplish things I didn't even know I could. So I'm really grateful for that.
I think the research alone must have been fascinating here, because this is someone that a lot of people have never heard of.
Yeah, I think going through it was really the French history that I was so fascinated by, that I didn't realize how much I felt like it paralleled American history in some ways, but also just what he had to overcome every single time. There were so many obstacles, and he did it so, like, he was so sexy about it. He was so like quick and just witty and funny and cool, and everybody loved him, and he made like, he was like, basically Marie Antoinette to me is like being friends with Madonna. You know what I mean? Like, she's just like that girl. She's the it girl of the time, and he was there. He was like the Michael Jackson of the moment, you know? It was fun chronicling that from the 1700s and finding how contemporary it was for us now in some ways.
I wrote down some notes about who I thought you brought to the table here. I wrote, he had attitude, he had a sense of self, he was upfront, and he was direct.
Yes, he was unapologetic 100% of the time. And that's, I pulled from Prince a lot because I think Prince was never trying to diminish who he was in his artistry and even in his individuality and his personality. And I think Joseph had to learn that, but he had a lot of that instinctual prowess. He was just like, here I am, either you want me or you don't, but that's your problem, your loss, and I loved it.
He lived in a time that was not easy, right? And somehow I don't know if he made peace with life. I can't quite figure it out. Or if he had such a confidence in his skill set that he knew that he was on point in a lot of what he was doing.
I think he understood. It's like his father said, no one can tear down an excellent Frenchman. And I think when you have that ideology, that principle to live by, it was none of you, despite how much you want to diminish who I am and put me in a box, will be able to thrive because I know what I'm capable of. And that resilience, that confidence, that perseverance is something that a lot of us could honestly start to take on for ourselves. So yeah.
I like that you mentioned the word Prince because that gives a contemporary kind of feel for people going to see a movie that takes place in the late 1700s.
That's what he is though. He's like, this is his Purple Rain. You know what I mean? Like he gets the girl and it's complicated relationship and he's giving these epic performances. I remember just listening to a lot of Darling Nikki most of the time when I was preparing for Joseph, but he's the it guy, yeah.
I also asked Kelvin about another project he's working on, Disney's Mufasa, the Lion King. What he told me about that coming up. But right now, a new extended clip of Kelvin in Chevalier.
Behold, France's future. He is both angel and devil, warrior and poet, a true son of France. My best friend, master of the sword, maestro of the bow. You know him well, Joseph Bologna.
Joseph Bologna. I'm pleased to finally see firsthand how sensational you are. Adept at writing and language and poetry. And you play your instrument as well as you wield your sword.
Up next, all hail the Queen.
We cannot afford to make any more enemies.
We'll hear from Lucy Boynton, who plays one of history's most infamous royals.
What did you learn about Marie Antoinette that helped you give a better performance in this movie?
Now, Marie Antoinette never had a TikTok, but On the Red Carpet does. Be sure to follow On the Red Carpet on all your favorite social media sites.
If you take to the stage, you will be erased. There will be no new France. You cannot topple what has been ordained by God.
Lucy Boynton plays Marie Antoinette in Chevalier. The last Queen of France before the Revolution, she was a friend to the Chevalier who gave him his fancy title before a very messy falling out. Let me begin here. What did you learn about Marie Antoinette that helped you give a better performance in this movie?
So much. I learned. I think the real catalyst was acknowledging how young she was when she married Louis and how young she was when she became queen. So she married him at 14 and became queen at 19. And women at that time weren't provided with an education. And so she was incredibly sheltered to the world outside. And I think that created what we're so familiar with in her, of that kind of fizziness and youthfulness and naivety. And she's streaked with this kind of sense of rebellion in her. So I think all of that was a kind of catalyst for a starting point, and then informs, why she is the way she is when she's an adult.
We know that or we see her as this outrageous figure sometimes in history and the off with her head that we've heard a lot of times. But this movie puts her in a different place, and I think we see her from a different perspective. And I'm guessing that was fun.
It was fun, and it was really freeing, I think, to not be tethered to this preconceived idea that we've already had of her. And there's something satisfying about being able to, as an actor, go to an extreme, and especially when it feels kind of purposeful or useful, like in a film like this. But it was really interesting seeing a very new side of her, and I hope it kind of reminds the audience how multifaceted these people are and how much there is to kind of excavate and explore about them.
Now to the silliness. Any wig nightmares?
A couple close calls with candles on set. Had to be constantly aware of the width and height of that, which took some getting used to. But no, it was fun. Kind of miss it.
I say that here's the hard sell. This is a movie that takes place in the late 1700s about classical music. What's the easy sell here?
The easy sell is the second you see a frame of this or hear a note from it, because it is so dynamic and theatrical and electric, and I think it kind of is very relatable to a contemporary audience, and it lures you in with this comedic wit and the sheer scale of it all. So I think, give it a go, grab a ticket.
I ask what you learned, but I like learning. I like the knowledge, and I felt like I didn't know who Chevalier was, and I felt like I walked into a movie and walked out with a breadth of knowledge about a different time in history, and I find that empowering as a moviegoer.
Absolutely, and I think what people worry about when they see the period costumes or something is that they're going to be sat down for a history lesson, and I think the thrill of this film is that Kelvin is electric as a lead actor, but Joseph was just such a fascinating human being. He was so wildly talented and magnetic, so I think, the audiences are in for a real treat.
Did the director ever tell you, look stern, Lucy, look this way, Lucy, because there are moments when I'm watching you that you've got the best poker face on?
Thank you. He didn't have to. That role called for all, ice, water in your veins, and venom, and it was there in the script. And you are so lucky when you come across a script like that and actors like that and a director that will let you go to those extremes. So, that was an experience.
Your resume would indicate that history is something that you like when it comes to a good acting gig. And this is a great example of that. Were you always a child of kind of like sucking up that knowledge?
I guess I've always read a lot, and both of my parents are journalists, so there's always been that curiosity in our household to explore what is unknown to you and to get out of your comfort zone. And so I think this is that's why I segued into this job, because it gives you every opportunity to do a period film is like getting a behind the scenes history lesson. And not only do you hypothetically or analytically get to learn about it, you get to live in those shoes and really almost time travel to those places and times. So it's a wild ride, and it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Up next,
a lot of women would have died for what she did.
Chevalier's leading lady, Samara Weaving, on the film's forbidden romance.
There's danger in this movie.
Yeah, really high stakes for everyone.
Do you love celebrity interviews? Be sure to follow On the Red Carpet on YouTube and your other favorite social media sites.
I care for all men, for if all classes of men joined together, we could more clearly see the injustices done to us all.
What about women? Are we invited to join you to fight injustice? Are we to be freed in your ideal view of the world? As equals?
Look who's with us now. It's Samara Weaving, the leading lady of Chevalier. Hi, Samara.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm doing great. I want you to tell me, when you first read this script, what did you know you saw in it for yourself?
I was blown away that this was a story I didn't know. I couldn't believe that this really monumental historical figure of Joseph Boulogne wasn't well known at all. And I thought Stephanie Robinson's script was incredible. And talking to Stephen Williams about how he was going to bring it to life cemented the role for me.
In the movie, we see initially, we think she's a reluctant performer because of her situation. But she likes to perform, and I'm wondering if you were the same way when you started out.
I don't know if I was reluctant at all. I was shy and had trouble making friends, but my parents put me into drama school at a young age and put me in drama courses at school to help bring me out of my shell, and it worked. I loved it. I felt like I didn't have to really be me on stage, and it was a good icebreaker for friends. So, in that sense, sure.
Okay. You are either a fantastic lip syncer or you have a beautiful voice. After watching the movie, I don't know.
That's awesome. I'm a good lip syncer, but it took a really long time and it was terrifying. I had to sing on top of the professional Italian opera singer, and I had lessons for a really long time. My poor husband had to listen to me sing the same song over and over again. But yes, I have a very deep newfound respect for opera singers everywhere.
Okay. One of the notes I wrote down was your choices in acting are all very different. And I can see you sitting in front of a tablet putting check, done that, check, done that. I think you want to do everything.
I do want to do everything. I think I'm afraid of getting pigeonholed into one genre. And I like to challenge myself. I don't know if that's healthy or not.
It's healthy.
But yeah, I love that, Scream came out last week, and then now I'm doing press for Chevalier, and they are totally different films. Yes.
Okay. We are also dealing with what we would call a forbidden love of its time. Mm-hmm. And those movies are always fascinating because we could put ourselves in 2023 and it would be a different situation. But back then, in the late 1700s, this was a surprising situation going on, right?
Yeah, it was really risky. It was life or death, essentially. I think Marie Antoinette, sadly, that was a slap on the wrist in those days. I think Montalembert thought he was lovingly, punishing her, but a lot of women would have died for what she did, for disobeying their husband.
There's danger in this movie.
Yeah, really high stakes for everyone.
All right, time now for another extended clip from Chevalier. In this scene, the Chevalier is struggling with injustices that have hurt both his professional and his personal life, but he finds that his mother knows best.
They ask about you out there, the people. They miss your music. Enough wallowing. It is pathetic.
Seems fitting of me.
You've let these rich white people soften you. Get up. Come with me.
Still ahead, Chevalier star Kelvin Harrison Jr. tells us about another upcoming film, Mufasa, the Lion King. Plus,
the galaxy still needs its guardians.
a sneak peek at 2 blockbuster movies coming in May.
Part of that
As I mentioned, Chevalier star Kelvin Harrison Jr. is also a big part of the upcoming Disney film, Mufasa, the Lion King. The movie tells the story of Simba's father, and Kelvin plays the villainous Taka, aka Scar.
I love that you're in Mufasa the Lion King, because that's going to be a big deal too.
I'm excited. It's really beautiful. It's going really well, and you know, I'm just excited for you guys to see it. It's the origin story of a lifetime.
Barry Jenkins, the Oscar-winning director of Moonlight, is directing Mufasa the Lion King, which is set to be released next year. Another reimagined Disney classic is coming this May. Halle Bailey stars in The Little Mermaid, premiering May 26th, only in theaters.
He's a human. You're a mermaid.
That doesn't make us enemies.
And also in May,
Are you ready for one last ride?
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 completes the blockbuster Marvel Studios trilogy with an epic showdown.
I'm done running.
It opens only in theaters May 5th. A lot of great movies coming soon. Remember, Chevalier opens exclusively in movie theaters Friday, April 21st. It's rated PG-13. For more entertainment news, be sure to follow On the Red Carpet on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on the Red Carpet.
Want more entertainment news? Follow On the Red Carpet on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube.